Hello, AshCon 2021, brought to you by Plaid Hat Games. We're back again for day 3 coverage. Welcome to the Shuffle Bus. As always, I have Neil with me today. Hi, Neil. How are you? yeah. You don't get the whole experience, right? Oh, I guess you are inaudible here. Let's see. That's not it. Let's see what's going on here. What would be causing that? Yeah, I can hear you. Hmm. Can chat hear you now?
Test.
You guys got him now?
Anybody?
I think you're coming across now.
Somebody tell me I need your.
Okay. All right. Yep. There we go. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it. I'm having some real issues with OBS the last couple of days and trying to get this audio problem sorted out on this.
You need just like a real mixer board instead of trying to do it through OBS.
I know. I've got OBS and a bunch of virtual cables to get all these different things to come in and work, and it's an absolute nightmare. And whenever one thing breaks, it's just like the whole thing blows up. So again,
OBS is a fickle machine.
It is. So we are on day 3 of AshCon 2021. Plaid Hat has kept this ball rolling. Nick is not joining us today. He is in the process of moving, so we wish him well in that move, and hope to see him on here again. I think he'll be back on stream with us Friday, so it sounds like today and tomorrow he's going to be offline, but we will carry on without him. Neil and I are more than capable of commentating a match, especially after a 3-hour practice match. Yeah, especially after a 3-hour practice match last night. So if you didn't catch Shuffle Bus Season 4 finale last night, you missed a heck of a match. Be sure to grab some snacks because you're going to get hungry in the middle of it. And then we're going to take off here pretty quickly with Shadowfire and Dinkin, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Shadowfire is from the U.S. and Dinkin is from Switzerland, so we've got an international battle going on here.
That's very cool.
Very cool, absolutely.
Looks like they picked first 5 and enrolled already.
Did they really? Okay, so we'll
get
in. Yeah, we'll get in and let them know that they can take off, and we'll go from there. So
we have a Jessa Noah matchup. Both these players are previous Shuffle Bus players, but I didn't have time to check if they if this is a Jessa deck from the tournament. Do you know if he played Jessa in the last season? We had so many.
I don't remember. Let's go. 5-hour match is what Cactus says here. Very low battery.
Larry fell asleep. So we see the old 5-color Jessa.
Yep.
And then 2-color splashing a single nature Noah. What was the Noah precon colors?
It's a good question.
I know it was Illusion. I have one. I have it here right in front of me, so I'll look. I don't have it memorized. He was ceremonial Illusion.
Right.
So obviously not the precon. It wasn't a precon because it's 3 colors, but maybe not close to precon. I assume that because he's so heavy in Illusion that he is playing Wolves, though.
Okay. I think that would make sense when you've got 5 Illusion dice dedicated here on a Noah deck.
Wolf is it's like the kind of card you need to be deep in Illusion for, right? Because you want to be activating it several times in a round.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Assuming that you have the books. Maybe Noah's technology for the future is Reclaim.
It's possible that Recollect becomes really good in Noah.
Sorry, Recollect, not Reclaim.
We do see Shadow Guard meditate here to bring up a power dice on the Divine side and then also on the Illusion side.
Mist Spirit.
It does bring out a Mist Spirit. We do see a Masked Wolf go to the discard in that process, as well as a Shadow Guard. So 2 cards down. The Shadow Guard hard to say Shadow Guard's good against Jessa, right? Like, it's hard to understand the value of it. Depends on sort of the style of Jessa that your opponent's playing.
It depends on, like, right, it depends on both deck builds. Because if this is a really aggressive deck, then Wolf is good, right? Like aggressive decks like the side action 2/1 attack stuff, which is actually even better against the Phoenix Born as a 4 battlefield. However, from what we're looking at here, Salamander Monk lines up so good against Myth Spirit, it's insane. And Butterfly
really does.
for that matter. So, because, you know, and so you're just trading 2-for-1 Salamander for Myth Spirit every time. Because you're either making only 1 Myth Spirit for 1 dice, or you're making 2 Myth Spirits for 2 dice, but the Salamander Monk just beats it.
What's interesting, though, is the opportunity to go wider. So you can still create better battlefield advantage. Noah's battlefield having 7 versus Jessa's having 4 does allow these Myth Spirits to go a little bit around if you so desire. You have to use them in a multi-attack scenario. So, like, if your opponent makes Salamander Monk into a double Myth Spirit like this, you still just get in for 1 damage while the Salamander Monk gets eaten up. So it's kind of a...
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not going to attack with just these 2. He's going to go Wolf attack if he attacks. I think we're going to see the battlefield go even bigger before we get to that juncture.
Yes, I agree with that statement, but it definitely just something that to keep in mind as we watch this is whether or not the Noah battlefield presence and size can continue to keep pressure. Because one thing that's kind of nice about these low to the ground units against Jessa is it doesn't give Jessa great fear targets, which fear is one of the most powerful removals in the game.
Fear looks like garbage against Myth Spirit for sure.
Yep.
But looking at the dice spread, like, do you think he has Celestial Knight? If he has Celestial Knight, then Fear is turned on.
I think it's very possible you have Battleseer and Celestial Knight in this list.
I think can't have Battleseer.
Why not?
Doesn't Battleseer take a sympathy?
Maybe it does. Maybe I'm thinking... I thought it was Illusion Divine, but you can double check that for me. He does bring out a Lightbringer.
Illusion Divine is the Celestial Knight.
Lightbringer looks pretty nice here into Jessa's board as well. So we do see the Mass Wolf come into play right away.
Good. Is he going to go face?
Well, what's interesting, no, because he put the Lightbringer book. Yeah, so I think what's interesting about this decision is you're sort of forcing your opponent either make your Butterfly Monk or Nature Ping my Wolf now. You're kind of on this plan of forcing that play pattern, which, you know, can be good. Obviously, I much prefer seeing the Mass Wolf come into play and get used the turn it comes into play since it's a side action. But if your opponent doesn't Nature Ping here and does make a Butterfly Monk, you can just make Lightbringer. And they're kind of in a awkward spot at that point.
I mean, I think the Lightbringer would have been better like in the other order. Well, I guess he couldn't have mained it this turn because he played the book. Like, the Lightbringer, I think, is most powerful in the board where your Jessa only has Monk in play. Because you want to tap that Monk. Oh,
Risen Horde looks pretty good here. Pretty good answer from Shadowfire.
Yeah, it's... I don't like calling it this close, but, like, all these one life units on the Noah side are going to get just absolutely taken to Value Town. Oh, this apparently is hyper aggressive.
This is a very strong open. Yes, watching this Immortal Commander into Lightbringer, this is going to force Risen Horde. I'm sure we'll see Noah block here, which will just open up a huge board and huge attack for Dinkin here.
One cool thing about this play is that by doing Lightbringer, you really mitigate the things that could kill the commander.
Correct.
Like, we know that his attacks can't kill it because he's only got 1/1s, and you can't play Fear, you can't play Fester. You know, your main action has to be an attack. So you really kind of... The Lightbringer into commander play is cool because you protect the commander that way.
This is a really, really aggressive open from the Noah player. I think...
And this really explains the Mass Wolf play because he wants to commander the turn he attacks.
So I'm not sure, you know, end of the day, we'll see here, because one of the things that you could still see is, and I think you almost have to use this natural die now to take that wolf away, or to take away one of these other 1/1s, because it represents 2 damage on board now with this Immortal Commander. which does take away the Butterfly Monk play from the Jessa player. So the Risen Horde just going straight to face, I'm sure will let Noah will just be happy to take 1 point of damage here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really worried about this particular attack, then I guess you frog it. But making a Butterfly Monk is really close to frogging it anyway, because it's going to gain you a life and it's going to kill one of these 1/1s.
Right.
But it looks like he's doing side action.
Yeah, I would fully suspect we're going to see.
It does it.
Oh, he's going to ping his own horde. That's a cheeky play, and it's pretty good actually.
It saves him more damage than pinging the wolf would have saved him. But we'll see. Any
screams
screamed once.
Which, with Noah's smaller life pool, these screams will add up quickly. There's no doubt about that. You represent a much faster win con for Jessa on these screams. He must not have had something to do with that die. He must have been planning to fear it already in the first place. I'm sure he wasn't on plan of pinging his own Fallen here, but I think
that's one reason that he could spend that die probably.
So we just see a Gates. This is going to be
a dope.
Full
this is
battlefield.
Awesome.
Yes, this is going to be a full battlefield into another Masked Wolf here, or 2 Mist Spirits, but he's at 6 out of his 7, so I'm sure this is just going to be another Masked Wolf.
One issue. Oh, he's playing the Lightbringer again though, so that the commander can't get killed.
Correct.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Really, really aggressive, wide open, fast open from Noah here. Already 6 units on the battlefield, one of those being an Immortal Commander, which is going to buff every unit on his attack.
Right.
This is good. This is going to put a lot of life pressure on this Jessa right out of the gate here.
Right, really taking advantage of the battlefield size discrepancy between these 2 Phoenixborns.
The only issue he's really got right now is you can't actually make Masked Wolf and use Immortal Commander.
Well, he can't attack this turn anyway, so he just makes a Masked Wolf, passes. His opponent has to attack, can't take a main action, and the next turn he goes.
Well, he used
commander attack.
No, he used Gates to open up the board. Then he used Lightbringer, so he doesn't have a side action. It's back on Shadowfire's turn right now.
I mean, not making a Masked Wolf is fine. Like, it's still this attack is still gonna be really good. So, do you think he has the Meteor? He's showing line.
If he did start a Meteor, what a blowout that would be.
I assume that he's not playing Meteor, but because Meteor is not good with Salamander Monk or Fallen Horde.
Typically, I would agree with that for sure.
But
he may have started Meteor thinking if my opponent's playing natural, though, he's got a risk that he's going to play Frostback Bearer. I mean, Noah is a 4-book capable Phoenixborn.
If I went into this match and I sat down, I don't even think this Jessa deck has Meteors in it. Like, looking at the cards that have been played.
Sure.
If it does have Meteors in it, and I sat down across from Noah, I would not start Meteor because I see the dice for Celestial Knight, and that sounds miserably bad to, like, start a Meteor against a potential Celestial Knight.
So most likely you could have Sonic on the back end of this still for the Jessa player. I mean, that's a possibility here.
The Jessa player still has a ton of action. Like,
right.
This is an extremely fast start from the Noah, but like, we're going to see all of these units. Well, not all of them, I guess, but a large portion of them just eaten up after this attack happens.
So Noah goes ahead and uses up that PB guard here. I think that's a good PB guard at this particular juncture.
But yeah, this is just the most telegraphed attack we've ever seen.
There's the big attack here. I'm sure we're going to see one of those Masked Wolves and a Mist Spirit get eaten up here.
Yeah, he's not going to block Lightbringer because there's only 2 Lightbringers in the pile.
Right.
So you want to leave him in play or kill them both, I guess. But
well, then you take just extra damage on Jessa from that Masked Wolf. I think the Masked Wolf is definitely the target that's going to get blocked here.
I agree. I think it's very likely that he goes block on Wolf Mist Spirit.
What's interesting is, I guess, I mean, again, we don't know what's still in the tank for the Jessa player on those last 2 cards. I assume one of them is probably a Fear, and the other one is potentially a Sonic Swordsman, just based on dice type that he's holding and the colors and the rolls. And that would give you Swordsman and Divine buff if you thought you were going to have to kill another knight.
I bet if it's a knight, I bet it's a vampire, not a swordsman.
Well, he didn't meditate up for the vampire, though. He did meditate up for the swordsman. So it'd be interesting to see what comes out of this here. So we do see one block. Does he keep that fallen back? Because there is a threat of another Mass Wolf just getting in for 2 damage here if your opponent doesn't have another unit to play.
That is also a reasonable play, but I mean, essentially you're blocking 2 damage either way because of the 2 power on the Misspirit right now.
Sure.
So I think you're supposed to block now.
Shadowfire's in the tank thinking about that, though.
It's not 100%. What does he have left in the...
So he does go ahead and block a Misspirit. That is what we thought would be the correct block here.
Because he can't leave him with 6. So, like, if he wants to make 2 Misspirits instead of a wolf, he still can. Regardless of how he blocks. I think he did that in the wrong order. You see he did the damage to Phoenixborn first.
Yes.
I think you should do the creature battles first, because if he has a sympathy pain, he could like snipe the wolf and save his fallen.
That's a very good point here.
Just a little minor thing, but he is showing the horse. It's something to think about.
So he did leave up the masked wolf and block a Lightbringer. That's an interesting decision. What's happening here? I'm not sure. He's definitely on some sort of...
That doesn't seem correct to me, but...
Well, I'm not sure that's quite... I think the Ashteki has shifted on the blocks, because looking at the blocks, it says use a fallen block Masked Wolf, use a fallen block Misspirit.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it just must be an Ashteki thing, like it moved the cards around.
It moved the cards automatically as they were being removed from the game. So we see a Misspirit is destroyed and a fallen is destroyed.
Like, switched over.
So I guess we're just waiting to see if Shadowfire wants to scream here, would be my guess on this trigger.
Yeah, I mean, because he doesn't have the dice for Widows or Final Cry, so...
So he goes ahead and does use a Scream. Second Scream coming out of this Jessa in round 1. That's not a typical play pattern you see, but again...
This is an aggressive Scream deck. I mean, like he's played it aggressively. I don't know what his first 5 actually looked like, but it obviously got screwed up a little bit by having to use that frog. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he would have rather made a Butterfly Monk.
So the Noah player is going to go second, which means he's going to be able to lock the Jessa player out of a Salamander Monk here in round 2, assuming we don't see another book here. It is possible that these dice could be presenting a Winged Lioness book as well. Although
I don't think that's very likely.
Yeah, I don't either, but I mean, it is a possibility, just thinking through the possible outputs here.
What would he use the horse for? You think he has a Guilt Link? That'd be kind of neat.
It's very possible. Guilt Link would be very good in a Jessa list, I think. Especially if you're playing a low-to-the-ground Jessa with Butterfly Monks and Salamander Monks everywhere.
And Fallen Horde.
Although I think you would want to get that down pretty early once you saw your opponent make double Misspirit. You kind of had to know they were going to go super wide. And it is a Winged Lioness book. Okay. So I did call that correctly here. He still could be on a Knight, right? He could be on Knight plan, not play Lioness round 1, like just setting up Lioness.
That sounds just awful. Like, because we know that he screamed twice. I guess since he screamed 2 times, he would have had the dice to make Lioness and a Knight in this round, along with Butterfly Monk, if he didn't scream at all. So I guess that's like possible.
Shadow target on the Winged Lioness, taking away the Lioness play for this round, and probably getting it for the next round as well. We're going to see this commander get to go top around again with another Masked Wolf and a huge attack.
He has to choose between... Well, he's not going to get to Masked Wolf and Commander. We know he can't do that already. And he's going to have to choose between Big Commander Attack and Shadow Target.
True.
He's got... Like we always talk about with Noah, he's got 10,000 side actions. All he gets to do 1.
Right. Would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think you'd probably just Immortal Commander Attack with what you have on board here. Noah really does want to accelerate, man.
He's going to get another 2-1 before the end of the round.
Yes. And it is the Guilt Link. So you were right. You were right. He does have a Guilt Link plan here. Doesn't look as great into a board like this, but I suppose you can.
It's still good. Like it makes this. Noah was planning on like making a 2-1 and attacking. I'm not sure you can do that now.
Yeah, I think you just have to make a 2-1 and pass, right?
Right, because if you attack, then he gets to sack his like his salamander gets to eat another 1-1 also after the Guilt Link kills one of your 1-1s.
And he's going all in. I think this
attack is very bad.
Yep, I agree. I'm not a fan of that attack. I think there was an opportunity to really set yourself up for a huge attack in the top of round 2. Now we're
going to see Guilt Link. It's going to kill a 1-1, and then Salamander is going to kill the Mass Wolf because his guard is down.
Correct. Yeah, I think that there was a bigger opportunity here for the Noah player to say, what are you going to do? And you just gave this window.
Yeah, where he can even scream twice now. If he goes Guilt Link pass, then Noah passes back, then he can go attack. Although instead of doing it in the same turn, then he gets 2 screams instead of 1 to use these dice that would have been stranded otherwise.
Although I will say this, if he does go ahead and Guilt Link this Salamander Monk and kill the mass, I'm assuming a Lightbringer will be the choice for Dinkin here, then he does leave up a non-blocker, right? Which is kind of like trading about the same amount of damage overall.
Not even close though, because you're right, the Salamander Monk doesn't get a block, but we've removed 2 attackers.
I don't think he's going to get 2. Well, yeah, you're right.
Because the 1-1's going to attack.
He's going to attack for 4. So no, Justin's definitely not dead in this scenario because we're still sitting on an Immortal Commander only being able to attack for 4 at the top of the round. This Guilt Link is going to
kill a 1-1. We're going to have a scream. Then he should pass. He shouldn't attack right away. Noah will pass back. Then he can attack and he can.
No, because if you get a double pass, you're over. It's over.
There's no double pass though.
Guilt Link is a side action, dude.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he doesn't get to do that, but there's the scream. That's fine.
He's got to be able to place, so he can't turn 1 Lightbringer plus Wolf, Cactus. He's going to lose the Mass Wolf here. 1 Lightbringer gets destroyed by the Guilt Link. Salamander Monk is going to swing into this Wolf, I'm sure, because the Noah guard is down.
Killer's right. That's actually really good. The Lightbringer makes it really good.
Yeah. That's true. I see what you're saying. Absolutely.
Because you time walk your opponent.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Since they have the 1-1.
So Noah does take another point of damage here going down
and
to
in that case he might be dead. He has to do 11 damage. So he goes Mass Wolf Lightbringer. Next turn.
Attacks for 2, 4, 7, 9. He's going to attack for 9. He's going to be short by
5, 6, 7. Bit. Yeah, 9 is what I count also.
Yep.
Man, Lightbringer plus the Mass Wolf is cool.
Yeah, I've not seen this combo played, but I'm actually kind of digging it.
And I mean, the thing that makes it cool is the Commander, right? The turn that he played Commander and then Lightbringer. The big problem with Commander is you make a guy, you make a Commander, you pass, your opponent kills the Commander, you're like, okay.
Justa has 11 life remaining, Cactus. Not sure where you're getting to the 8. No, it's only got 8 damage on it. It's 11 life remaining. The countdowns on the stream are counting down for newer players because they don't know how much life a Phoenix Born starts with. So unless that, I'm not seeing something here.
Yeah, there are 8 wounds on Jessa currently.
Correct. Yeah. This has been a fast-moving game going into round 2 here. Much different from the game we watched last night.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really this Noah deck obviously is very telegraphed. Like it does its stuff in a specific order, and it does it like the same every time. Because it's such a proactive plan. The Jessa deck didn't take very long because of how the Noah orchestrated this first turn. The Jessa just kind of like did the stuff it could and didn't have to take a lot of time to think.
So Dinkin goes ahead and uses Shadow Target to take away the Winged Lioness. Okay. If there is a second Wolf Book here, I mean, he rolls extremely well, right? 4 power Wolf dice. That's how you can get there, folks. So yes, if we do see like a Mist Spirit play into second Mass Wolf Book, things are going to get out of control real fast here for the Jessa
player. The book is a side action too, yeah. So he can't play Wolf this turn because his side action was Shadow Target.
Right. So he makes Mist Spirit here. I'm sure we'll get second Mist Spirit because that would take you up to 5. You still have room for the double Wolf, but I guess then you don't have room for the Lightbringer, which you needed. So, he does make the double Mist. Okay.
Since he's not planning on winning this minute, I think he's going to try to like grind out a little bit of advantage. But he has to be careful attacking because of the Guilt Link.
Yeah, I mean, your opponent's going to have to make Salamander Monkey. They're going to have to make a unit here. The Guilt Link's only going to get turned on if you attack him. So I'm sure we're just going to look at a pure like lethal attack plan here.
And the Guilt Link isn't particularly good into this board like it was last turn. The thing about the Guilt Link last turn was that he got to sack his tap monk and make another attacker, and the PB guard was down. So Guilt Link right now, like if he even had a counter on it, wouldn't be that effective.
Right.
Leonard, I don't think that this deck has a Nature's Wrath in it because it looks to with a single nature dice and a first 5 Butterfly Monk book. I think that has to be the only nature card in the deck.
Yeah, I
think like wouldn't build your deck that way otherwise. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want to give up playing the Butterfly Monk consistently. We do see a Blood Chains, which is going to be big on this commander here.
Yeah, that's good.
That takes away a ton of horsepower for the Noah player. Will we see the Scream from the Jessa here?
And again, I don't think that Meteor is a card that this deck would play because of
and we do see the
Risen Horde and because of Salamander Monk. Like those cards do not combine well with Meteor.
So the race is on here. That Immortal Commander going down is a big deal.
Yeah, that represented a lot of his damage. I mean, you can still just attack for 4 now. Like, well, you can attack for 6 now if you made a Wolf and attack.
And 6 is a good number, but you're running out of battlefield room very quickly here. It's possible that the Noah player is on. Oh, we get a heal from the Jessa player on the back end of that fear. That's a good heal here to really extend the game out.
That's all right.
I like this heal because your opponent's sort of playing like unit version of Burn. And heal is a really good anti-burn synergy card, so I think it's
obviously like one of the benefits of the Noah plan is that it really like pressures your time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have all these actions. You have like main action book, main action summon, main action book, main action summon, main action book, main action summon, main action guy. Like whereas the Noah book was like guy attack. In that same time.
It's definitely going to get in for 4. I wonder if this means the Noah player is holding his own Nature's Wrath to refill the board here at this point. It's very possible we could see that kind of play. I was trying to
figure out what the like single nature dice was for because I haven't seen anything yet. Nature's Wrath is a possibility.
I mean, if you're the aggressor, if you're the Noah player here, and you're certainly in the aggressor seat, right? Then you have to continue to mount damage and pressure on the board wherever you can. And
yeah, I think that was a good attack. I'm interested to see if he drew second Wolf Book, which would be crazy because that means that his Wolf Books would be in the top 12, all 3 in the top 12 of his pile.
Because we did see
one
go by.
It's certainly possible. Because if you have it, like, it's so much better to activate them. Like making Wolf now is not as good as if you would like play the other book and then make a Wolf later so you get the focus.
Right. Especially if you can do that whole Wolf Lightbringer trick that we saw in round 1 again to some value, then you just open up the board for 5 damage again to your opponent.
Yeah, and we have the Guild Link online again, but with the commander down and the Jessup player not having like a real beneficial unit, like he could make a Salamander and Guild Link and that would be okay, but you're really missing out on the first half of the Salamander there.
Mm-hmm.
Because his Salamander's Butterfly Monk should represent a ton of card advantage against a board like this, where they just trade with every unit.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that to a certain extent. Obviously, the sheer quantity of units does matter, whereas the Salamander Monk doesn't give you that 2 units on the board immediately. So the one dice turns into 2 units, but
all these units are tapped, so it doesn't matter anymore now that they've attacked.
Sure.
Like, it's just going to be card advantage. I guess not countering the Salamander is like a problem, but since you have the Guild Link, you really do get to probably make a play like the end of last round at some point this round where you make a Salamander, you attack with it. It doesn't die back, it gets exhausted. Then you sag it to Guild Link, kill another guy, and then you get to attack with the Spirit and get full maximum value out of it where you're like have engineered a 4-for-1 against your opponent.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a real potential possibility in this match here.
And Butterfly Monk is like a 1.5-for-1 every time, right? Like it's going to trade 1-for-1 with one of these units. If you attack a Mist Spirit, it's kind of like,
he does have that second Wolf Book coming down here. So top 12 cards, 3 Wolf Books.
One cool thing I'll say about this Noah deck is that this is a Wolf deck. It's not like a Shadow Target deck. Right. In the past when I tried to play Noah, I've always tried to build this weird control deck that takes advantage of screwing with your opponent's books and kind of playing the long game. But this is he doesn't care what Noah says on him.
Mm-hmm.
He cares about Master
Wolf. Yep. These wolves are you got to be a little bit careful here, because if you summon 2 wolves into this board as it sits right now, you're full, and that gives you a kind of an awkward space for those. That Guild Link. I mean, the Guild Link kind of helps you a little bit, but the Lightbringer feels a lot less impactful when you can't make all 3 in a given round.
Right. I don't think that he needs to make both wolves now.
Sure.
I mean, he can't because he just used his side action to play book. But I mean, next turn, I don't think he'll do it. And because I'm assuming that Jess is going to put something in play.
You have to assume that Jess is going to at least try to put out a Salamander Monk at this point, and most likely, I would think, try to meta into that Butterfly Monk. I think at this point, you're better. The one day, it's such a weird trade, right? Spending your 1 nature die to ping a unit versus spending the nature die to make a Butterfly Monk that heals you.
If he has the time, the Monk is better because you essentially get the ping with the 1 power of the Monk, and you get the heal. The reason that he did it last turn was because he wasn't going to have the time. His Monk was going to come into play, and he was just going to take as much damage as he would heal.
So we do see the med up here. Will he put the Butterfly Monk into play first? That would be the question here.
I don't think it makes a lot of difference unless he's really planning on Guild Linking right away.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. You sort of do have the time here, to play Salamander Monk. If your opponent tries to get aggressive and make double masked wolf and attack in, your Salamander Monk, he does make the Butterfly Monk here. Okay,
I think that's fine. One small thing to consider that he plays around here is if he meditated, he needs to make the Butterfly Monk right away because he might get wolf powered.
That's definitely not a small thing. That's a real possibility.
Well, it's a small thing because he has the option to meditate, make Butterfly at any time in the round. So, if he wanted to make Salamander, he just make Salamander and not meditate, and then next turn he could meditate, make Butterfly. Since he decided to meditate, he's pretty priced into making Butterfly, but he could make that decision at any point.
I mean, are we in a world right now where he just gets blown up if there's a Nature's Wrath Gates thrown open in these 4 cards? It seems like that's a very, very real possibility.
I think Nature's Wrath would be very good. Gates would be okay. Gates would only be good if he has the Nature's Wrath, right?
Right, for sure. But if he does, it's just really flips the script. Although Shadowfire is still holding at this particular stage 6 dice. So they're equal on dice right now. Obviously, that kind of play really throws the dice math in favor of Shadowfire if he can stabilize and survive, and that would be the key here.
Well, only if he has something big to play. Like, this looks like a matchup where if you just have like a Hammer Knight, all of a sudden your board is way better than theirs.
Right.
Because they can never attack into it, and then like when they decide not to attack, you get to smash them with it and like kill one of their guys also, like a second one of their guys.
Yeah, I mean, Hammer Knight, even Master Vampire here to hunt this commander away and heal isn't a completely irrelevant play. So there's
some
opportunity here.
It's just the alert on.
The alert on Hammer Knight is a blowout.
Hammer Knight is very good into boards like this, but
because like at that point, that Hammer Knight probably eats up 3 units. Pretty easily.
It depends on how the attacks actually go, because this deck obviously wants to attack all at once, and that mitigates the value of the alert. But it's hard to figure out. If Hammer Knight comes into play, they're probably neither player will probably attack, because the Hammer Knight doesn't want to attack with the open Phoenixborn guard. Noah would just take 3 every time, I assume.
Right.
But having the Butterfly Monk in play lets him play something like that, because you obviously couldn't just jam Knight into an open board against Lightbringer.
Right. One of the things that I will add to this is we have not seen a lot of Noah in competitive play, so it's very interesting to see this Noah in particular go up against a Phoenixborn that's generally considered one of the upper echelon Phoenixborns at this point after the results of Shuffle Bus Season 4. So we're seeing a Jessa. Jessa has sort of bubbled up to the top from Season 4. 2 of them making top 8. So we know she's good. And we know that the builds are really good in general.
Well, this is definitely the kind of deck that would beat like a non-Knight version of Jessa, which I think from what we saw with our many Jessas in Season 4. The ones that made top 8 were the like aggressive beefy unit ones, not the like slow grindy chump blocky ones.
Absolutely. The Fire Archer getting another valuable point of damage on the Noah here.
Yeah, I guess this is fine. I don't know why you'd play that over making a Salamander, but it's very similar to making a Salamander.
Yeah, definitely. What would be interesting?
Ultimately, he's going to do both of those things by the end of the round, so it doesn't make a lot of difference.
Right. So there is the Nature's Wrath play. We said that this would be a blowout if it happened.
Well, it's not a blowout. It's just good, right? Like, he did get the 2-for-1 because the guy, because Shadowfire played the Fire Archer.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a reason why I think playing Monk would have been better.
Well, the Monk doesn't serve as a blocker, so the best you get out of Monk is a point of damage on Phoenixborn.
Like, if you...
I'm losing Neil, everybody. Neil has gone away.
Are you there?
I'm back, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you went all robo on me too, and cut out. So it's just internet connection, I guess. But what I was saying is that, like, you kind of have to put your opponent on Nature's Wrath or something like that, because he looks like a deck that wants to refill.
Mm-hmm.
And that being the case, I think I would play Salamander first before Fire Archer.
I think it's about the same, to be honest. Because if you play... So now you've got this Salamander Monk. You still got Guilt Link up. So now you can play Salamander. Most likely see your opponent do like the double Masked Wolf Lightbringer play. You can sally into a wolf.
Well, if he does that, he can't. Well, I guess he'll have to make Salamander first, because the Lightbringer is not going to happen until his opponent plays
for sure
unit. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really similar. Like, it's probably not going to have a large income on the game. I just think it's marginally better to have made the Salamander, because then you play Fire Archer now, and
you still only have one blocker,
right? But you have an attacker, so like,
sure,
if he like that plays around the Lightbringer really well, having the additional
Yeah,
like
I'm with
1/1.
I'm with Kaya. I think Shadowfire's playing this correct. I think the Salamander Monk coming out late is better than coming out early and getting no value out of that first half of this. Now you're going to get value out of the monk half of it for sure.
Well, how? I mean, he's just going to make a Lightbringer, and then your monk's going to be tapped. That's the same as if it was a monk spirit, except that you would also have Fire Archer in play right now.
Wow. Okay, so he plays Mass Wolf into Gates here.
That's neat. Like,
did I miss a scream? Did I miss a scream? I did miss a scream. Sorry, folks. Thanks for catching me up there. Hard to see sometimes.
Yeah, so he has another Fire Archer.
The second Fire Archer.
That's fine.
Noah life total is getting smaller.
Man, this deck looks really cool, but I bet this is like in the top 5% of possible draws.
Noah list, yeah.
Right, where he like does his plan. It works really well in round 1, and then in round 2 you draw the Nature's Wrath and the Gates.
Extra book.
And the extra book, which means all 3 books are in top 12.
Yeah.
I mean, this deck's really cool. I am pretty geeked out about this deck, but
so let's see. We go Lightbringer here.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about, where if he had made the monk instead, the Lightbringer would be way less impactful. Because just the monk spirit would attack. He might not even like play Lightbringer into that. Monk spirit would attack, and he'd still have the Fire Archer as a blocker for next turn when he goes wolf attack.
Well, I think it's still really close because the monk is I mean, I don't know. I mean, he still has the option to make a monk. I think the second Fire Archer here is probably a little too greedy over just making monk in this scenario.
No, because the monk now is no different than the Fire Archer.
Can he Guilt Link before?
That's true. Yeah. He could Guilt Link right now, and then he could make a Salamander because the Lightbringer, like, he can't attack as a main action,
right?
If the guy's dead, so that might be really good.
It depends on how much he values damage on board, especially going first at the top of the round. Like, this looks to be like Noah's going to close this on first action of round 3 for the Noah player if you don't have good answers. We don't know what the last card in the hand is here. We don't see a recurable unit in the dice spread from the discard pile right now. That might make Salamander, like, sort of unfortunately actively bad. Yeah, he's definitely facing a big damage swing here. I almost wonder if you're supposed to take the Fire Archer, put a nature die on it, and try to attack that commander and just eat the PB guard. You don't really have much of a choice.
I think he would just let it attack commander and then kill his opponent. Like, he doesn't need the commander to kill his opponent. He's got plenty of power with these wolf bucks. I think that the
7 doesn't get there. Yeah, 7 doesn't get there.
Well, I don't mean like literally next attack.
Yeah.
But what is the Jessup player going to do? Like, when you're at 2 facing down 5 units or whatever. See, this is the wolf is way more important than the commander, so he'll PB guard that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dinka does not go first round 3. Round 3 will be Shadowfire first.
Right. The Jessa has time to make an additional blocker, but they're gonna it's gonna take 7. Right, Kaya. He really needed to Guilt Link and then make a monk.
Yeah. Well, he could have Guilt Link there at the back half of that and at least taken one of these wolves away, taking less damage. Now he's facing 7 damage, which is a much more brutal.
Well, it would have just killed commander and he'd still take 7, is what would have happened if the Guilt Link was activated.
Sure. Now that PB Guard's down, though, like, your monk can do a little bit of work into your opponent's board.
Yeah, a wolf will die this turn for sure, at least one.
Yeah, no. Are we in round 3 now already? No, we're still in round 2.
This is round 2.
Yeah.
So he didn't attack with the peacock, which I think is a little weird.
I guess he just wants to try to eat that salamander monk. 15 damage, so 4 damage remaining on the Jessa here.
I mean, it doesn't eat Salamander Monk. It just gets in for one, probably, right? With the PB guard up.
Because this is Grave Knight. German thinks this is a Grave Knight being held back here.
Do you die if it's like if you did one here to put him at 16, and just took 4 from a Grave Knight, like I think that's fine.
So we do see the Salamander Monk. I mean, I think you've got to be on plan of like Salamander Monk, Hunt Wolf, Guilt Link, Salamander Hunt Wolf, right? Like,
well, yeah, that's what you hope happens. Pretty close to dying is not the same as losing the game. But yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't matter because what is this Jessup player going to have to do to not take 4 damage from the, like he'll get to kill a wolf here. He'll get to kill I assume the commander will die this turn.
He'll get to kill 2 wolves here, to be honest.
If he guilt links, I think he'll sack commander.
Yeah, but he's going to make him. He guilt links his own Salamander Monk into a monk spirit so that you can kill a second wolf.
So he kills 2 wolves,
right?
So he's down to just Fire Archer and can't block monk in play, right?
Sure. But then you get to go first again next round,
right? So what do? You make one guy. Your opponent has Peacock Wolf in play, and he goes Wolf Wolf. You have 2 blockers to his 4 wolves and die.
Well, Wolf Wolf is a pretty strong play, assuming that you can roll 2 power sides. That's out of 4 dice. Or 5 dice.
I guess that's true. Like if he doesn't roll the wolf,
if he doesn't roll the wolves, it's not going to happen that way. So I mean, that's not a guaranteed block.
In that case, maybe he keeps the commander. I'm not sure. Well, he also gets to do the dumb thing of like his first action isn't attack; it's Lightbringer Wolf Wolf.
Sure.
Or Lightbringer Wolf like meditate, and then next turn like Wolf Wolf attack, or just one wolf attack. Like
yeah. I mean, there are a multitude of ways he can handle getting white again here.
The Lightbringer in this deck is so sweet. Oh my god.
Well, the Lightbringer won't exhaust a blocker if you've got a Monk Spirit up Cactus because you can just use your Monk Spirit, which couldn't block anyways.
Right. It just gives him additional time to like make his squad when the
absolutely
Jessica can't do anything.
Really need to see it.
Does this recover? It does. Weird.
The commander?
Yeah, I don't know what the stats on. I knew it was
almost all allies have at least recover 1 on them. I'm not sure there's an ally that doesn't have recover. So Shadowfire's really thinking through this here. I think you really just have to punish these wolves as much as possible, and you got to have a playable in your hand. Is this last card playable?
Yeah, it depends on what his last card is, right?
It is possible that he could actually fear the commander here. That's not a completely terrible play. Like, fear your Fire Archer.
If you have a fear, like, you should play it. Okay, so he's spending a
single divine die. I'm guessing this is a fear. I'm going to guess this is a fear here. Nope, he's going to power up the monk.
So he's going to attack.
He's going to attack the commander. Yeah.
That's fine. Like, it does represent a reasonable amount of damage.
We'll see if that last card then is a fear. I still think if you had fear, it was better to play fear here on your Fire Archer. But
maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to tell because he has to have a guy to sack to Guilt Link, and he also needs to have a blocker probably.
All right, so he gets the commander with this powered up Salamander. We got to see probably Guilt Link here, I would assume, which will force one of these wolves down, most likely over the Lightbringer.
I mean, I bet he sacks a Peacock, but I guess how many wolves are in the pile? 5.
So he's got 2 left here.
Yeah, I would sack the Peacock at this point, just because it's a 1/1 instead of.
So he didn't use the Guilt Link yet. I think if you Guilt Link there, you can't. The Peacock can only attack Fire Archer or attack Jessa because you can't target the Monk Spirit. So kind of a weird that we didn't see that, but we just see Dinkin pass. So he still wants to hold that defender.
You can't Guilt Link after pumping the Monk.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Right. So now we got to see. I mean, what's the last playable from from the
this
Jessup
Peacock
player.
has to attack, right? Like, there's just almost absolutely no downside.
So we get a Reclaim Soul. I'm not a huge fan of this, but I mean, I guess it's
fine.
It's recover 2 life.
Yeah, and it does the same thing that the Guilt Link would have done. It like resets the monk to kill a wolf.
He was saving it for to heal back up, I guess. That's the play pattern here we're seeing.
Now he'll definitely attack with Peacock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he passed. Okay.
Dinkin's not using this Peacock up. He wants it on board for next round, I guess. It does represent another unit for damage.
With the commander dead, though, it's so much. I guess if he has another commander in hand, he can do Lightbringer commander,
right? And
then the Peacock represents more damage. But I think you're supposed to attack with it.
Yeah, I think what we're going to have happen here is Monk Spirit attack into the Master Wolf. And then do you Guilt Link here, take your Monk Spirit to try to take one of these other units off the board?
I think you probably do. Because the Spirit's not a blocker.
Right. But do you let a Master Wolf go? I mean, they represent more damage on the board than the Lightbringer does. You could sack the Lightbringer here. You still like.
He should have attacked with it. That's like
yeah.
He could have got his damage in and got to sack it. Like he could have had both.
Yeah. So we do see the Guilt Link hitting his Monk Spirit. We'll see what the choice is from Dinkin here. Dinkin does let a Master Wolf go down. I think that's correct. I do think that's the right play. I just was curious if he was going to value that untapped Lightbringer over.
I don't think that's right. I think you should have. I think you should have attacked with Lightbringer and then sacked it. I don't think that the 1 damage now, because essentially you're getting a damage in now, and you're losing a damage next turn by having a 1/1 instead of a 2/1.
Mm-hmm.
But you're reducing your the value of your cards over the game because you have a 1/1 instead of a 2/1, and you have less Lightbringers in your conjuration pile.
Right. So there's the attack, and he's going after the Fire Archer. That's an
and if this was what he wanted to do, he could have done this at any time during the turn also and gotten his value.
I mean, I'm sure we'll see Jessa just guard this, right? Like,
I think so.
You would think so. I mean, this is one more rep.
You're essentially blocking twice as much damage next turn if you leave it in play.
Yep. And we did see the Jessa guard that there, so makes perfect sense.
All right, so what the Jessa does top around here is going to be pretty important to how this game ends.
Absolutely.
What's the best thing she could do? Like
play a Risen Horde?
Risen Horde is a reason that you shouldn't have Guilt Link there, actually, then. Because if you had a counter your Guilt Link still, if you draw Risen Horde, you could play Risen Horde and Guilt Link. That would be very good.
I don't think we're going to see a Raptor Kaya in this deck. We're pretty much convinced that the only reason there's a single nature die in the deck is just for the Butterfly Sympathy,
though.
Oh, you could. That's
the
true.
Raptor's different.
That's true. Brain not working today. Still a little bit hungover from last night's match, I think.
Yeah. Got done at 11:15 my time, and
so we see Shadowfire gets started here top of round 3.
So he can't make a Butterfly Monk, though. I don't think that's the best thing you do anyway. Do you think he has a Crimson Bomber in his deck?
It's possible.
That'd be kind of sick here.
I mean, it's very possible. And Jessa doesn't mind Crimson Bomber into take a bunch of your units and deal a point of damage to something. With the Scream on the back end of it.
Yeah, I think that Crimson Bomber is a card that I misevaluated very badly when I started playing Ashes. I was like, this card doesn't seem very good, but it's really growing on me. Like the 3 2s for 2, or the 3 1s for 2, I think are good because they trade with everything. Specifically, 3 2s being even better because they don't die to natural ping. But
right,
and so then Bomber just has relevant text.
He did hard roll 2 wolves, that's for sure. So he did get 2 of the 5 dice prepared for Mass Wolf correctly.
It's possible, Kaya. I mean, it's still just like one every turn, so I don't I
I mean,
don't think he's gonna get 6 of them off before he dies to, especially since he rolled 2 wolf faces, like wolf wolf dead. I guess he has to do 5.
yeah, Wolf, and attack right here it represents 5 damage. Like you have the win here. Like he is holding
Well,
lethal.
he's definitely going to make some kind of blocker, right?
Yeah,
Or
sure,
else you're just conceding to what you just said.
right.
So, is it better to go like shadow target Lightbringer then wolf wolf attack?
So we see a discard sympathy pain bring up that natural die here. I'm guessing he's going to make a butterfly monk here.
I think butterfly monk is probably the best blocker that he can make, because it not only does it block a wolf, it also changes the math needed to win.
But if you are on plan that you think he's going to Lightbringer double wolf you, if that's what Shadowfire's thinking, then actually you're better to make Salamander Monk hold your natural ping for the next round, so that after he makes
that's true
makes that, you can go ahead and commit natural ping to one of those wolves to reduce his attack power by 2, which is a huge deal at this stage in the game. So
then oh, he doesn't have enough wolf faces, damn it. I was hoping he was going to be able to go like wolf illusion power, turn your frog down, then make a Lightbringer.
That's pretty sick if
that'd be so sweet.
No, you definitely don't have to. You're absolutely right, Leonard.
Right, and with the frog ping up, you shouldn't. But also having the wolf in play already, it doesn't really matter which wolf you ping. So with one in play, making them doesn't make a lot of difference unless his opponent has a sweeper.
Lioness looks pretty bad, so he does go ahead and take the butterfly monk. Lioness is not looking great in this matchup. He could have wolfed the 2 wolves, yeah. Yeah, but I don't know where you're going to get 2 blockers from in this list. You'd have to have Raptor, right? You just don't have a choice there.
So he's meditating.
He's gonna make Lightbringer, and then he's gonna be able to clear potentially. Yeah, wolf ping and attack and get in for the win. That's what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep. So the Lightbringer is gonna force one of these units to attack, which will
no,
it's PB guard. Yeah. Right. It's gonna eat the PB guard.
Man, Lightbringer is so awesome.
Heal is a potential card that could save him here.
So that would put him at 12, requiring 7 damage with 1 blocker. Currently, with what's in play, yes, that would no longer be lethal if he has the heal. We're assuming he's going to attack with Fire Archer, because you should not attack with Butterfly. If you attack with Butterfly, then you're not going to get the heal off,
right?
The mend. So you attack with Fire Archer because he'll ping the one that can block.
So if he heals and ends up on a mend, I still think he's dead, because that's 3. So it goes down to 11. You got 1, 2, 4, and another 4 is 8. 8 into 11. He's Xaxes right now.
Right. Yeah, German. Lightbringer is way up there on best books. After watching the finals last night, I don't think that you can say that it's better than Three-Eyed Owl, but it does some wacky stuff.
It really does change the way the game is played in some fundamental level.
Ooh,
a spicy Shadow Guard coming out here.
Now he's definitely lethal.
Oh, for sure. That's just like, let me show you how I flourish as a Noah player, and that's just play this Shadow Guard and watch your board
he just lets the wolf go. He's
like, I got a Shadow Guard out of it. I got 3 yeah, for sure. But I don't think he counters the Fire Archer, does he? It doesn't look like
matter.
It. That's a big Shadow Guard right there to just put the pain on.
this Noah deck was just a masterclass in how actions work in Ashes.
Yep.
Like, not only did he utilize his action timing, like, just to maximum benefit of himself, he also, like, because of the Lightbringer, messed up his opponent's actions, so he just, like, got way ahead.
Yep. Yeah, it's possible. You're right, Leonard. You don't counter just so that the Fire Archer doesn't die and turn on a Widow's play. Your opponent is holding Widow dice.
Yeah, I mean, if you know you're going to lethal your opponent, like, there's no reason to do anything. Like, to do anything unnecessary.
I have seen some Jessa Widow's decks, Kaya. It's not that far much of a stretch. But the Illusion Dice definitely, in this particular Noah list, doing a lot of work. Been very impressed with the Illusion.
I don't know. I mean, the we're talking specifically about, like, this one Shadow Guard that you shouldn't take into account because he was lethaled anyway. Like, he was dead anyway without the Shadow Guard. Just flashy way to finish the game. So we're talking about a loyalty card specifically, Gates, which I do think Gates is a good card. But what really made this deck good was that it had Lightbringer in it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, how much would this deck just thrive if your fourth book was a Salamander Monk on top of all of this?
I don't think it would be good.
You know?
Like, the way that those turns played out, he was 100% out of dice, like, after 4 turns of action. Like,
sure.
And he did a great job of utilizing it all, and that was how he got so far ahead. Like, we watched round 1, he's had 7 dudes in play, but his opponent had 2. Like,
sure.
There's no... The thing that this deck... Like I was talking about, the thing that this deck pressured was time.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't give your opponent time to do that. And if you're playing a Salamander Monk type game, you're taking a long time because your main action playbook, main action summon Salamander, main action get your value out of the first half, main action get your value out of the second half. That's not what this deck wants to do at all. This deck wants to do this, what's happening right now, where you're like, side action, guys, attack, kill them.
And just adds the white swordsman. So you don't even have to, like, go ahead and nature ping here. You just make a billion attack here.
You're like, side, take 20. Like,
yeah. Yeah. I mean,
attack for 11. Yeah, just flexing, Leonard. That's right.
Yeah. So it hits for 8. The hit is for 8 because you're gonna block the Shadow Guard.
Right. So, like, take 7, but attack for 11.
Yeah, I think this is a good example of a low
Killer,
down tempo deck.
That's exactly right, Killer. That's exactly right. This deck was really cool. And I mean, I will make the statement again that I think his round 2 was a super high roll to draw the second book, the Nature's Wrath, and the Gates. But that's what the deck is built to do. So I did it and went nuts.
Yeah. Very, very interesting game. Yeah, Lightbringer does force your opponent into slower actions. But let's be real for a second. If your opponent played a real threat this game at all, does the Lightbringer really save you?
I think it does.
Yeah, maybe.
Because
possible.
Whether or not the Lightbringer is tapping a 1/1 or tapping a Knight or whatever, like, this deck is going to be able to race it.
Right.
You know, what this deck would have a hard time against is the ability to deploy multiple blockers at once.
Right.
So whether the blocker is huge or the blocker is not huge, you know, I don't think it makes a lot of difference. That game was so cool. That game was so fun to watch.
This was very very fun to watch. Yeah, for sure. I am echo your sentiments on that. There was a lot of stuff happening. One of the things that we saw in early testing with Noah, you and I, was this ability for Noah to just manifest board states that are, he just goes from, like, nearly 0 to full in a matter of just a couple of turns, right? And so when
that's what Masked Wolf does, right?
Right, absolutely. I think I just wonder, like, I've been talking about this a little bit more lately, but I wonder, like, you know, we've heard a lot of talk about Mass Wolf not being good, and there is a certain a sentiment to that I think is not totally incorrect. But I do think the extra value from the Mist Spirit here of just another body on the board. Now,
Miss Spirit was strange to me. He did activate it twice, but the second time he only made one, right?
no, he made two both times. He made two on the second
Okay.
activation as well. I said I wasn't sure if he would because it would put him in a position where he couldn't Lightbringer double Masked Wolf, but he just had the Nature's Wrath, so he was going to clear
I
the
was going to
board.
say that Raptor Herder in first five would be very similar to Miss Spirit, but the downside to that is,
The
like,
hatchling is potentially zero.
well, like it wouldn't be zero because he has a commander first five, so like it'd be one at minimum, but probably three
Right.
because of the. But essentially, the upside of Miss Spirit is that he gets to run 5 illusion dice
Mm-hmm.
and one nature instead of having to play like more than one nature potentially.
Right. And that gives him a better
And-
chance to hard roll the power sides that we saw.
Which is what we just saw, right?
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
want to have 5 or 6 so that you can double wolf like top around.
Right. Yeah,
That, and to your point about it being bad, like that's the downside of it, right? Is that you have to run 5 or 6 illusion dice. It's
Right.
not the unit itself. It also pales in comparison a little bit to other loyalty cards. Like if
Sure.
we were talking about Mass Spirit as a non-loyalty card, like just a card you could play, it would look great compared to like, many of the one dice summons.
Right.
But because it's a loyalty card, you expect a little more out of it than.
Yeah, Kim, I agree that that's a potential use for the Masked Wolf. We didn't see that in this game, obviously. We saw a very aggressive use of this Masked Wolf into that Lightbringer Masked Wolf play. And I'm sure that there's a world where, like, just playing Lightbringer Masked Wolf is enough, but obviously, hey, welcome back, Dinkin. Very cool deck, by the way, dude. That was fun to watch.
Fun to commentate, yeah.
Yes, yep. Very well played. Very interesting to see that pressure. Kaya views Mass Wolf as a bad water blast. I'm not opposed to that consideration either, Kaya. I mean, even in the first round, like if you can make, there's maybe a world here. Like we were talking about this on.
When you look at it that way, it's more like a bad light swordsman. One of the big things about water blast is that you can first five it without putting it in your first five. Like
Yeah, I mean,
always in play. That's
obviously.
like having to have a card in your deck to draw that's a water blast is okay.
Mhm.
But
so I was just gonna add to point here just a little bit that when we see the new meta evolve, when we talked a little bit with Nick yesterday about Oric and Lulu, and particularly how there's a bunch of these O2 units coming. We've got Ruby Cobra and Ash Spirit, and we've got Emberroot Lizard. Mass Wolf is a really interesting way to Shadow Target is a bad water blast. I agree with that, Cactus, but it gives you an interesting way to sort of approach how to fight these O2s, because we've had some conversations in the Discord channel recently, and if you're in AshCon and you haven't joined the Discord channel, like what are you waiting on? But there's lots of great conversations, but one of those conversations was about like Shadow Spirit and Ancestor Spirit sort of getting a little bit better in this new meta where you can make a 1 die to trade with your opponent's 1 die. Because it's otherwise you're talking about kind of being up on dice to make trades sometimes or to kill things. Like I still like Lioness. I think it's the best conjuration book for hunting down round over round these O2s that are going to sort of run rampant. But you can't run you don't really want to run a Lioness into Ash Spirit, for example, right? Because Ash Spirit is an O2 that's going to kill that Lioness. But you do want to run an Ancestor Spirit or potentially a Shadow Spirit that does something for you into that. And if you pay 1 and your opponent pays 1 to kill it, it's kind of an even exchange on that unit to that play, right? It's so there's some interesting kind of conversation happening around these sort of 2/1s that have existed, and obviously like Mass Wolf is a 2/1, but being a side action 2/1 makes it feel potentially a little bit better than Ancestor Spirit or Shadow Spirit.
I mean,
in that sort of scenario.
If you're saying is Mass Wolf better than Shadow Spirit, Ancestor Spirit, or any of the other ones, I guess like Crickets is kind of bad because it costs 2, but yes, it's 100% better than those, but is it better than those enough that you're okay starting with the Noah in play?
Yeah, I don't know.
because you could start with not a Noah and play any of those other ones you just said,
Sure,
and have a Phoenix-born that
sure.
does more. But and you're right. I mean, all two power guys, specifically the two power for one dice guys, got better when they printed Snake and Lizard
Hmm.
and Ash Spirit, because it just kills Snake and Lizard. Like straight up, you're not trading dice for dice there. You're trading. You're like spending a dice to kill their guy, and you get to keep a body on the board that they have to deal with. Um,
So this was Dinkin did share with me in the Discord, but I didn't want to spoil anything in case listeners, and I didn't want somebody going out looking before the match. But he did say this was a deck that was built by Red King, so it does feel like a Red King deck. When you look at how it plays and what it's doing, it's got very
yeah, he
Red
loves
King.
Lightbringer, man. I mean, obviously, he like just makes weird stuff, but he loves Lightbringer.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously, super well played. We've got about 45 minutes, Neil. Do we want to just play a game and chat with chat for the next 45 minutes, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I can play a game.
Cool.
I can't stay long because I gotta go back to work. But
Okay.
my stupid day job.
Well, you know, just tell them you quit. You're getting paid overtime these days.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I Facebooked your wife last night when we said
I
that
know.
we're gonna pay 10K to she's like, it's coming out of your bank account. She just clapped back at me like it was no big deal.
Oh yeah. She rolled with that sort of stuff. She told me today she's gonna jump on stream the next time we're live one night and just tell everybody that there's absolutely no way it's being funded by her. I said, all right, no problem.
I only have like random bad stuff, so
you got to take your shots, man. I'm gonna like, okay, if Matt's watching, I'm gonna test a deck that I'm building for Carousel. How's that? It's random and it's probably not super great, but it'll be fun. And I want this version.
man,
So I've got it.
I like have this deck and I'm like, I'm gonna play this deck because it was on my list of random decks I've edited recently. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna play this deck. Change my attitude changed quickly.
That's so funny.
How do I leave this? I leave
You've been crushed by that before, Keller. So there you go. Like,
Does this have a password?
yeah, SB, I think is what I put in there. Just try SB or SB4. I don't know which one it was. German trying to sneak in on stream. Oh, Neil just disconnected.
What? Who?
I don't know. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm
You disconnected. No, you disconnected. Joined and disconnected.
All right. Hang on.
So while we're waiting here, a couple of shout outs. One, Lord O'Mugan, followed us 8 hours ago, and Aura Knight Twitch followed us. Thank you for those follows, guys. Super appreciate it. It's awesome that you guys trust us and believe in us. And
thank you so much. God, what was I thinking?
I don't know. I don't know how I win against you, but we'll see.
You don't even know what I'm playing.
It's Auric. I know what's happening. I mean, it's the same, right? Like all the time, the same. This first five is tricky.
God. This deck has some things in it. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, chat, I honestly like that last game we just watched. that was just so sweet to me. Just so dope.
Yeah, I agree. It was
Like the
super fun
kind
to
of deck that
watch.
you probably could never uh that you could never play in open deck tournament, but is like obviously like a gatekeeper kind of deck for a
Right.
closed deck tournament where you surprise people with that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Um, I guess I'll go first.
Yeah. Concentration. You got a main action concentration?
I think so.
It's interesting. Okay.
Lizard.
Lizard. The lizards are coming. Meditates away the concentration. This is going to be an Essence Druid. That's a big problem.
Draw a River Skull that can't play. Stupid chain list.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah. I don't know how I beat an Essence Druid with this deck. Okay. Definitely didn't have you on Essence Druid out of the gate. That's probably a mistake.
I did show Sympathy and Charm Dice in my pile.
I know you did.
Omen Banger. All right.
So yeah, dropping the Omen Bringer. Probably should have played for a night. I just didn't think you were on like you've been just playing these really like grindy, like stally Auric decks, and you haven't been using big units in that.
I mean, when you say grindy and stally, isn't that
What's up,
exactly
Shadow?
what Essence Druid is?
Oh sure, but you've just not done that to me with other Essence, other Auric decks up to this point. So I just didn't even think about it being a thing you would play. Um,
Technology.
yep.
This card is so good in the new meta, by the way. Lawfare. Omen Banger.
Yeah, I don't think you necessarily needed to fear the commander early. Like I don't think you really had a lot of opportunity to react to that commander like that, but you know, possible.
Ah, Mega Turtle.
Yep.
Yep. Good work, Law of Fear.
Yeah, pretty good.
A lot of fear going jams on this board. Um, horsepower.
Okay.
Pass.
How
Pass.
did you kill my Omenbringer?
I countered.
But you have -1 as well.
Attackers have -1.
Oh, that's just ridiculous. Okay. That's how much I played against that card.
Yeah, they and in fact, your Omen Bringer has 2 power until it's attacking. Uh,
Yeah.
the squad. Hmm.
Yeah, man, we are definitely tired today. I'm like kind of even zoned out a little bit here. Um all right. Doing another concentration.
Side action mode of concentration there.
Okay.
Where did I draw? Oh, okay. I see. Druid.
More druids.
Go ahead. The fear. Concentration. Good.
Okay.
Omen Banger. You only have 2 of these, right? Yeah. Concentrate.
Okay.
River Scald. Fate Reflection.
Yeah.
Card's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of men in play.
I do.
I'm gonna need to draw another Law of Fear if I'm gonna survive. I think next round. I mean,
What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
okay. I thought you played the Fester.
No.
You meditated Fester to play a Molten Gold.
Yes, I did.
I see.
Yeah, I've got a wide board. I don't know if it's doing anything against, especially against Law of Fear, but it is what it is, I guess.
I'm gonna meditate. When I hit Gobi, do I want to draw a Gobi? Yeah, I think I do.
Okay. That'd be great, Warrior. Thanks for doing that, man. That's super sweet. Yeah, we're hoping to get some information about SB5 coming soon here. Just working through some logistics on that on the back end here. It's been a busy week, so I'm very tired. What are we doing here?
I played Law of Domination.
Choose a card.
Yeah, so you choose something. What did you choose?
Time Hopper.
Taps Time Hopper.
Yeah. Pass. Okay. That's probably actively bad. It's actively bad, but that's okay. Whatever.
You untapped an Amber Root.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't seem very good.
Whatever. I'm so tired, dude.
It was a long night for sure. Turtle. Passes their main action. Play concentration pass. Concentration, side action. Play Gobi.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That survival of the fittest coming in hot.
That was pretty good. Pretty good, I must say. That is your main insider. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna get just hmm.
The essence drew back.
Yep.
Okay.
God, River Skull is so awesome. I miss playing River Skull. Send the squad. All right. Deal damage to turtle. Yeah.
Done.
Assume you have flash strike.
I do not.
Okay.
Would have liked one, but didn't show up. So just gotta. And I just know you're gonna SS Druid into another Law of Fear, so like, I just had to
I
get
can't
my.
play SS Druid right now.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Either way, I clear your board. I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I think that attack was fine. The only thing you missed out on was like you didn't get a reset off the bangers. But it might have been greedy to activate a book and then pass and then
Yeah, the only book I could have activated in that scenario was a Time Hopper, and the extra status token didn't really do anything for me in that scenario because I didn't have anything there. So I mean, it's possible I'm walking into a meteor here at this stage.
I just concentration mained and pat and said go. Accelerate.
Yeah, I just need the dice fixing and draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I mean, it's really hard to get around these prison decks. That's for sure. Like you're now awakened state, so now you just get to crush me.
Yeah, I don't have it right now because I wanted to do this. Um, but I can start next turn. A banger.
Yeah. It's playing a weird game now.
Turtle Gill. Gorn Rock Brawler. Oh, Fire Archer. Okay.
Yeah, meditate the Gorn Rock Brawler.
Yeah.
How did you? Oh yeah, you have concentration. That's right.
Awaken state here. Okay. Pass. To discard any cards. Okay. I still might be dead. Like, I guess I have 12 left. I have big attack here, though. Apparently, this deck just needs Safeguard. So you pumped Hopper, Lizard.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's again a deck where like I'm not sure that there's. Is that a main action or side? That was your side.
Yeah.
So you use the Awaken State.
Yeah. Ew. Am I dead to that? 14? Yeah, I'm actually dead to that.
Oh, you got
Wait.
19 health.
No, you have Hopper tapped. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just thought you could make a Hopper and
Nope.
finish me. So not dead to that. What is the best play? I guess I was supposed to meditate. I'm not. Do that.
I mean, I think this is an example of how strong Awaken State is, but you just have to be potentially really swarming.
I mean, I have the Awakened State in play. It hasn't been that great against you so far. I killed a Fire Archer with it. Yeah, so I'm super dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's funny I lost the game because you played Survival of the Fittest.
Yeah, survival was a huge blowout.
That like won you the game easily when you 3-for-1'd me and all my guys were bigger and better than yours.
Yeah. I mean, this deck plays 3 Festers and 2 Survivals, so this is a carousel deck that I'm gonna potentially play against Matt in the next week. So,
looks fine. Like,
yeah. I
don't like the Gorn Rock Brawler, but
it just, Matt's playing, like, the thought process is Matt is playing Sympathy, Nature, and Time. And so, like, he doesn't have access to any real big units, but...
What's his Phoenix form?
Aerodel. And so, Aerodel's a bit of a problem because of the Water Blast and all my units, but I just have to sort of out-survive and just continue to build these board states like this that let me get value. So,
yeah, I mean, all your guys dying to Water Blast isn't great, but I mean, potentially he can only Water Blast once, and you can Water Blast, or you can make guys more.
Right. Yeah, I didn't draw extra Hopper Book, which was kind of a sad state of affairs. There's still 2 Hopper Books left in the pile. But there's another version of this deck that I have that's like plays things like Crimson Bombers and Risen Hordes and like goes that route instead, and really focus and like then tries to use the ready spell slots for like things like Strengthen and other.
Well, Crimson Bomber specifically is like really terrible against Water Blast.
Well, for sure. I mean, that's why I have Fate Reflection in the list, is to be able to potentially counter the Water Blast.
And all of the removal spells in the colors that you mentioned are damage removal spells, so Fate Reflection has to be super good.
With the exception of Shatter Pulse, if he decides to play Shatter Pulse.
Well, all of the spells that you would ever actually put in your deck.
Yeah, I mean, Shatter Pulse, like, I feel pretty good if my opponent decides to use Shatter Pulse on my low to the ground units like this. Right, like that's
right. Literally the only thing it would be good on is Gorn Rock Brawler.
Right. I do have one Hammer Knight in the list, but
even with the Hammer Knight, it's still just trading even.
Right.
Do you want to try to get a game in real fast? Like
Shadows is also in color. Yeah, Shadows is in color. 2 Shadows is in color as well.
Sure. That's just another reason why you shouldn't play Gorn Rock Brawler.
I just didn't really have anything else to put in the list. You know what I mean? Like, you start to get to a point when you're fixed on these specific colors.
I would play second Hammer Knight over Gorn Rock every time.
Maybe. I mean, it still just gets eaten by 2 Shadows if your opponent thinks you're on it. I did start the Hammer Knight, and then I decided to back away from it once you Law of Feared me. And that, I mean, you did strand a couple of dice on the Law of Fear. That's like a unit that's good
against Law of Fear.
Not really. I mean, it's 2 attack. What am I getting out of it? Like in your board where you had Essence Druid with Tame 2.
You're right. It was not good against Essence Druid, but it's like, it's by far, I mean, I guess if you stick the Gorn Rock or whatever, Gorn Rock is slightly better, but it's like better than all your other units against Law of Fear.
I think if you plan to play Law of Fear, knowing I was Koji with this big battlefield, like, you should have gone second. That's what I think. I think it was a mistake to let me go second, because you just let me build up a board.
Yeah, I just figured that I needed like I had so much just like bullcrap going on that doesn't play the board that I like wanted the first action to kind of get ahead. But you guys getting ready for a match? We're just streaming for the next 15 minutes, Warrior.
Yeah, we're finishing up at this point. Yeah, so we're just
trying to jam one more game.
We can try to play a quick one.
I'm sure we can figure out who's going to win in 15 minutes. Even if the game doesn't literally end.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I don't know. It's got password of SB again.
I had to refresh the page. It just like
gotcha. Yeah, I think like
oh, whoops.
Got selected deck.
Yeah.
You just left again.
I know. Hang on. Hang on. Look, all right. Sometimes you do dumb stuff.
Yeah. Wait a minute. You heard it here, everybody. Neil never admits to doing anything dumb.
Oh, I said you do dumb stuff.
I didn't do anything. I'm sitting here
But
waiting for
that
you
is what I said though, right? Like, was that sometimes you do dumb stuff. Even if it was referring to me, if you clip it, it'll still sound like it's part of the video.
to. English is a funny language sometimes.
That's true. English is a terrible language. But
Yeah, I apologize. Like, I wish I was a little bit more like high energy today, but like, man, I'm just still feeling like I was up too late drinking all night. It's been kind of one of those days. Like, I'm just like kind of in a bleh state right now.
all right, you are Divine Nature Sympathy Herald.
Odette, huh? Yeah, I thought you wanted a fast match. This does not look like it's going to be a fast match. Uh, I really don't know if I can play this first five. Honestly, I've like built this deck on like a like I was laying in bed one night essentially. I was like, my brain won't shut off about this idea, so let's just go ahead and do it. Can I play it? Yeah. No. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. um. Okay. Go. 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 Play Lightbringer Med 2. Hit a commander and a raptor herder here. Hey, happy to see a sword go by.
Jamming them Grave Knights.
Hmm. Yeah, sure. I'll force that knight to attack. Take one, but we exhaust the Grave Knight. I think that's fine. He could have Sword of Virtue here. If he does, he does. Not much we can do about it. There's his own Lightbringer. See if you put out a Lightbringer on this bear here. Canyon Shelter. Gonna use that Canyon Shelter.
Not letting you hunt my Grave Knight. Lightbringer beats.
Get in for 3.
Sure. Make a great night.
Take the veil. Okay. No choice there.
Shelter go.
That's where this card would have been better, I guess, but I'm just going to get marked here, but I guess you take 2 more damage if you fray here, so I'm okay with that.
Definitely doing it. Oh, somebody's gifting subs.
Thinking is gifting subs.
Thinking gifting subs. That okay?
That's
So I say that like we appreciate everything everybody does, but like actually gifting a sub to someone else is like the next level. That's awesome.
It's pretty wild here. I think
Thank you so much.
I think we just go there.
What happened?
I put an inflame on that bear.
Unit must be full active table. Okay. You're out of dice and stuff.
Yep. I don't know what you're doing with that last time die, but yeah,
Nothing.
just hit. Okay.
Just attacking you with my peacock.
True.
Um,
Meditated a Grave Knight. Plays a Hammer Knight. Okay.
oh, you pass. Okay.
Yeah,
Not pass, but
just had a main action.
can I not?
You have
Can
to
I not shelter my Hammer Knight now?
No, no, probably not. I don't know.
Why?
It's not exhausted.
So I use main action to put the.
Yeah, but it says remove an exhausted
okay,
unit.
yeah.
Your Hammer Knight's
Okay,
unexhausted.
I see what you're. I'm just being dumb. Do I want to meditate? No, go ahead. Nature's a wrath. All right. So I guess I should have attacked and done it, but then I wouldn't have been able to put anything under it again. So.
I mean, you can put the Grave Knight under it. Like, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah. Cannon Shelter's a weird card.
It's fine. That seems fine. And we'll do some meditation here. There. Yep. I did that backwards. Oh well.
What were you supposed to do?
Nothing. It's fine. It's good. I was supposed to nature ping and get in for one, and then not worry about it. But it is what it is. So
I think that attack is fine.
yeah, it's fine.
Generosity.
You untap the shelter.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll heal. Yeah, we're definitely not going to make 4 o'clock on this.
Yeah, well, my work can wait. This game is interesting. Like I assume that you were just going to overrun me because when we tested this deck before, you crushed me easily. Bear.
The bears, all the bears. Okay.
Soldier bear. Horsepower. Okay. I got confused, but horsepower makes sense.
Why do I have to choose? Okay. I'm like, there's only one there, so.
Sonic Swordsman and you're out of dice.
Yes. If you have the backtrack, I just get blown out.
I have a backtrack. I just sheltered my GK. I'll take 3.
Yeah, Dinkin, I'm glad that you're excited to watch the coverage. It was a really fun match to watch, dude. Like, well, very good chance you get another sword there. So I just got to use this swordsman, or I just lose it.
Yeah, I think against a debt you're supposed to attack.
Yeah. All right.
And then I'm gonna meditate.
See if you got the veil. Fate Reflection's pretty good there too.
Wait.
Yeah, because I take the 4 from the Grave Knight on top of the 3 that the Swordsman did, so I just took 7.
Oh, I had not figured that out myself. That was awesome. That was
Yeah.
even better than Golden Veil.
Yeah, Fate Reflection's an insane card, dude.
Just keep playing the stance of you do 1 and a divine to do 2 to me.
Right. I'm just like I'm trading 2 dice to do 2 damage. I'm fine with that. Right.
It seems okay.
Um.
Sure.
Burr. Is that all the swords down?
Yep.
All the swords are gone. Good. Okay.
I don't know how many people are still watching this, but what do you guys think about Canyon Shelter? Like just
It seems like it's doing
in general.
Seems like it's doing quite a bit of work right now.
It seems like it's been good this game for sure.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting card. Bring back a Grave Knight. Okay.
I don't think I've played this deck a couple times, and I don't think that it actually gets there. Like it's kind of like Secret Door or one of those that you like. It's really hard to first 5 because it's really hard to get the like a card's worth of thing out of it, a card's worth of value out of it. But that's why I was playing the gates. Obviously. Beat kick.
Yep.
Yeah, where I just think like in this matchup where like I haven't played against a hard removal spell. Um,
I have 3 in the deck. I just haven't drawn them, dude. I have 3
what
Festers in this deck. Like I'm seriously just like
you don't
I
have a dice to play Fester with in your dice pool.
no, it's or sorry, 3 Molten Golds for your Grave Knights as well. I've meditated 1. I also have Seeds of Aggression as removal, but she just Fate Reflected me. So
That's true.
you have
But
played against. You've played against removal in Mark and in the Fate and the Seeds, but you had Fate and Veil in both of those cases, so you've protected the Knight as well as you could.
right, I started the golden. There's one golden veil in this deck just for like Odetza stuff, but I figured I needed it against the Hunter's Mark,
Mm-hmm.
um, which obviously I did. So what am I gonna do? It's just jam a Great Knight. Oh, frog thing. Okay.
Um,
Go
Sympathy Pain back. If you have the Fate Reflection, I guess I just get blown out here. Nothing I can do about
Indeed,
it,
I
though.
do. Just I kind of block the turtle ones. No.
Okay.
Fate Reflection is a hell of a card.
It is. It just has prolonged this game like a million turns at this point, but it is what it is.
Why do you
yes,
think it's prolonged the game?
because I had removal of your Grave Knight that had been recurring, that I've had no way to deal with since then.
I mean, that's you think that prolonged the game, like it advanced my board win, like it didn't slow my board down at all, right?
Well, because I think you I've had you dead to rights in a number of plays up to that point, but those
Well, I mean, if I have turtle up, you can't say that you have me dead to rights, right? That's what Fate Reflection does. It's the same as like you can't say you have your opponent dead to rights when you're trying to fester their guy and you have GV up.
sure.
Like these are cards that exist in the game.
How did you heal? Oh, you healed from the generosity.
I chose heal on generosity.
Yeah. I want to do that? No. Just playing that hard Grave Knight here.
Yep.
Good game.
Got there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. The Fate Reflection crescendo thing is like that's rough skis.
Well, it was Seeds of Aggression that hit you for 7. But the crescendo thing's the same thing. The inclusion of Fate Reflection makes things really difficult now because you really can't use damage as a removal tool. So I think because I mean, where are you going to walk into a bunch of Fate Reflection decks and then what are you going to do? So, you know, I think that I was on the right plan as far as being able to pressure your board. I just, you know, you just have essentially 6 protections against my suite of cards here.
Well, I only have 1 Golden Veil.
Okay, well, 4 protections then.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure, obviously, right? Like,
sure, right. And the Golden Veil, like,
but you also have like
snake up like 1 time, right?
You also just have the 3 removal through sword, so like it's essentially like a hard play for me to work through anything. But you have to play into those things to try to do something. So
right in general, like obviously. Fate Reflection was the player in this game. Like Canyon Shelter was cute or whatever, but I could have had any random like this could have just been a Frostback Bear book and it would have done a very similar thing where I just played like a control game and eventually killed you with summons, right? Like the big swings in this game were from the Fate Reflections.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting set of cards. The timing on it is difficult to deal with, right? Like
on what? On Shelter?
Yeah. You have to either have like immediate removal or you lose the game. So Damon says the problem I have with Auric is that a signature card is mandatory.
I think that you can definitely play Auric without Awakened State. I think you're missing out on some value by doing it.
No, you're good, Damon. We played Auric for game 1, right? Like you watched me play my Koji carousel deck, potential carousel deck in game 1 against it.
But I think it's very doable to play Auric just as like kind of a different kind of James.
Mm-hmm.
Like you play like just like a 6-card hand type opener. And obviously like it's card selection. Like you could easily just go like turn 1 Frostback Bear book, meditate. If it's a card you want, like take it, if not pitch, and then turn 2 like summon Frostback Bear, meditate again if it's a card you want.
That's the way I've been playing Auric, is like as a bunch of these main action stalls,
right? So, you still want to apply some pressure, but yeah, I mean I think that you can definitely play him without Awakened State. I think that my experience with Awakened State that it is very good, so I think you're giving up a little bit of value by not building an Awakened State deck. But when you choose to put the Awakened State in your deck, it becomes an Awakened State deck. Like you're making many deck building decisions outside of just putting that card in your deck to make it work, right? You're building a very specific kind of control-y stall type prison deck.
Is concentration good enough on because Orc's got with five spellboard? Like this is a question that I've been asking myself a little bit with five spellboard. Like you could play Orc in like a 4-book shell and like play 4-book shell Auric with fifth spellboard slot just to the awakened state, and then like we kind of saw this like in the Herald Mirror last night where it was essentially just these 3-book shells. One shell was very low to the ground. The other shell had Mindfog Owl, Frostback Bear, right? But so like it's possible that Orc can play in that sort of space.
That sounds like it's probably too much dice investment, depending on what your 4 books are.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, because ultimately, what you're doing with concentration in that state is you're drawing a card for the cost of 1 die.
You're spending a dice is the problem. Those sure. 4-book decks, they want to have like a Frostback Bear plus probably another 2 dice summon plus 2 1-dice summons. So you're looking at like 5 or 6 dice just in your books, and then concentration is like you want to have more than one of them in play. You want to have the third one in play. So like you're spending like 8 or 9 of your dice just in your spellboard every time, and I don't think you can afford to do that because unless you're like really playing to the board, and 1 dice draw card is not playing to the board at all.
Yeah, for sure. I think I guess what I'm going with that is that like there are times in 4-book Aerodels and 4-book like Lulus where you don't spend all your dice just because you're playing these reactionary heavy like kill spells, things like that just don't necessarily always have value round over round. So like we've seen, right? You've seen those decks hold 3 cards or 4 cards, and so like but if you play, I'm not saying you play the literal like Mindfog Owl Frostback Bear thing, right? But like, can you play something? What I'm asking is, can you play something where you could get individual value from the attacker, right? I'm not sure what that looks like. I'm just like,
I don't foresee it working because the big thing that those 4 books do is, plan A is spend 6 dice in your spellboard, do your spellboard thing, play 1 or 2 other spells.
Sure.
Plan B is skip a book or 2 to get a very advantageous turn out of your hand. So you have to have that flexibility. And as soon as you take 1 turn off of dumping every dice you can into concentration, you're not ever going to make Awakened State.
But I don't think I'm saying that this deck doesn't even try to do that. Who cares? Like just use the concentration to pay 1 to draw a card. You pay 1 to draw a card and fix a die.
That is much worse than just like first 5ing a Changing Winds.
Is it though?
Yes. Because if all you want to do is change a dice and draw a card, like you have upfront cost of Changing Winds, but it saves you many, many dice over the course of the game, especially in these decks. You're talking about 4-book that go a long time. And just like Strengthen we were talking about the other day, the more times you activate, the more value you get.
Sure.
So like I think you would be much better off.
Okay, so let's put it this way. Okay, so if you play Changing Winds, you spend 2 dice round 1 to do that. You get nothing off of the cycle 2, right, from it. So you pay 2 dice to play it. You get no dice fix immediately off of that. You then have to take a side action to draw a card and fix 1 die.
Well, if what you're talking about is playing and activating it, concentration takes like 1 less main action, but it takes the same number of side actions to like fix the dice and draw. And it like so the first concentration is like half the cost of your Changing Winds, but then the second concentration now like literally the second time you activate it, it's the
Inquisitor's saying exactly where I'm leading. If I could finish, it's the wins doesn't actually get cheaper until round 3, and in many games round 3 is the end of the game. So see what I'm saying? Like is like concentration and Changing Winds are almost on equal playing field until you get to like round 4, right? Like I'm not saying
but your deck that has concentration in it, like you want to go long, right? Like.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is Auric has 5 spellboard slots. Traditionally, what we find as a problem in 5 spellboards is that there's just not like 5 really good things you want to be doing, right? So, even in your match, you were only playing like 3, right?
Here's my other argument against just 1 dice draw card. There are many Phoenixborns that have that printed on them, already, and you don't have to commit a first five card to do it. Like Saria, Namin. I thought there was one more, but
yeah, but the difference between those is you don't get to look each action you take. You don't get to look at essentially the top card of your deck and decide if it's a better card for you to put in your hand.
Well, now you're just saying, is Auric better than other Phoenix?
Well, but that's where conversation. But that's where I'm. So what I'm saying, it's all encompassing. It's not in a vacuum, like looking at these cards insularly. I'm saying, like, can you have concentration in your deck? Have four other things that you're wanting to do with your spell board that are good. And Leonard, I don't think 4-book spends all their dice on their books at all. Like, in fact, I think that's completely counterintuitive. They spend like 6 of their dice on their books. The other 4 dice are for cards in hand. So those cards are traditionally removal spells, protections, whatever flavor you want, but they're there, and for that reason.
Like, so you clearly believe that this is correct. So you should do it and tell me what your results are, because
I don't know. I don't know if it's correct.
The game playing out in a way that works. Like I'm trying to, like, I was even thinking about things like maybe you go 4-book Lulu at all 1 dice summons, or 4-book Auric and all 1 dice summons. So you have, like, you know, Snake and Gilder and
you're talking Ruby Cobra,
right? Yeah,
I was gonna say you can't have the Silver Snake, so I don't want to confuse chat.
Sorry, new Snake, Gilder, I don't know, Butterfly Monk, Salamander, or something like that. And then you have 6 dice remaining every turn, and you have, you're essentially gonna slot yourself 1 or 2 dice every turn for concentration. Your first 5 has no interaction. Your first 5 is then 5 books, so you're just on the back of those units to come out of round 1. And if they play a Hammer Knight, I think you're dead.
Well, I mean, you can still start Festers, right? Or you can still med into Fester. Even you can still draw into Fester. Like, my point is like,
yeah, I guess you get a rando 6th off the Auric. So, like,
well, and the concentration makes 7. It costs you a die, but you do get a 7th card. It's a pure draw.
So you have, well, you're essentially starting first 4 plus 2 unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
And so is that good enough to beat a Hammer Knight when your first 4 is like crappy little guys?
Yeah, ZT, Lulu is the real deal Holyfield, man. She's going to be a beast.
You should build it and see what happens. I do have to go back to work now, but
yeah, that's cool.
But I've played a lot of 4-book, and if I'm not doing stuff with my other 4 dice that's interacting, I don't feel like I'm doing very well.
Sure.
And as far as concentration goes, I don't think that there is, like, in the Game of Ashes, if there was just a ready spell that said pay a dice, draw a card, I wouldn't play it. Even if it said pay a dice, fix a dice, draw a card.
Okay. I'm not saying that that's correct. I'm not saying it's correct. I'm asking if this is like, look, we all know, like, I think we're all sitting here saying, yes, Awakened State is very good, right? And if you can get there and you build a deck around it and you can stall your opponent long enough, you build in a win count. Does it guarantee a win? No, we just watched Koji in a random sort of, deck be able to pressure or pretty substantially, just because of his battlefield size and the kind of units you want to have in that scenario. But really, I went off the back of Survival of the Fittest there.
Right, that was pretty bonkers.
Yeah, it's a pretty good card, especially
because I thought that the Sun Shield was going to stabilize me, but
yeah, I just walk a 3 dice, remove 9 dice worth of value from your board. It's pretty good, and that's that's a strategy you can do when you're playing Ember Root and playing Time Hopper and playing Omenbringer, right?
Yeah, I still think that Survival of the Fittest is an insane card. Like, I have since we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's really, really good, and I think there are matchups
meta dependent, but
it's very, for sure. Like, we won't know until after we've seen a few tournaments with these cards, whether or not there's just token decks everywhere, right? We just don't know that yet. But 4-book Lulu is going to be a meta thing. I mean, it's going to be. Like, I don't think there's any chance that Lulu's not going to enter in and have a strong showing in her first tournament. She's so strong and so powerful.
Yeah, she's super good.
And you know, like, sure, I played this Koji deck simply because I have to play it in Carousel. I have to play Koji in Carousel. So I just wanted to see if I'm even on to something that was functional. I don't even know if I got that information from playing a Sol Orc, right? Like, because I'm not going to face that kind of deck.
Oh yeah, you should not use my that result as any real testing.
Yeah, it's just hard to know. Obviously, like, the only thing I got out of our game was just that my dice spread is correct. It works. I don't need to modify my dice counts.
I think you should take the Brawler out, but
well, I might. I mean, but if I do take the Brawler out, honestly, I'll probably take it out for something like Arisen Horde.
Are you playing the maximum fate reflections?
No, I only play one. Oh. It really is just trying to get some board tempo advantage off of round one.
I think that if he's on Sympathy, you should put in the fate reflections, because I would put it as a high likelihood that he's playing at least some of Crescendos and River Scalds, and like, you want to win the game easily. Fate Reflection, one of those two cards.
Sure. Yeah. You know, I mean, I definitely don't feel like I needed the Brawler, and didn't feel like I needed the Hammer Knight either with my books and the untap from the Omenbringer. So it's possible.
Well, I'm going back to work.
All right, man. We'll see you. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for Ashcon Day 3. I know it was a little bit more of a low-key stream. I apologize. We're just kind of worn out from last night. But we'll be recharged and ready to go for Day 4 tomorrow.
I was hyped for that game. That game
that game was awesome. I mean, once we shut down the stream, the VOD will be available. Go look at the Day 3 VOD for on Twitch here. You'll see how crazy Noah and his wolves can get. And they did a very nice job today. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much. We'll see you all tomorrow at 3 o'clock Central 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central. But,
yep.
All right, see you guys.
More Ashcon action.
Yep, we'll see you. Super excited.